Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about Grenzo the Dungeon Warden. I'm going to try to take a look, see what he's hiding down there in that dungeon. But there's a few cards I want to go over first. His ability is kind of unique, it's kind of different. Never seen anything quite like it. You spend 2 mana to reveal the bottom card of your library. And if it is a creature with power and toughness equal to or less than his, it goes into play. Now you'll notice the X in his cost, the red, the black, and the X. You can spend however much you want to, and he'll come into play with that many +1/+1 counters, which is really good because that way we can make him however big we want him to be, and there are no misses in the deck, because there's nothing worse than having this kind of ability, spending the 2 mana, hitting the creature, and it not being his power or less. So fortunately, this deck, that will never happen. So we're going to go through what I call a few of the key cards first. We've got the Junk Troller, who will always hit, and he does put some target card in a graveyard on the bottom of his owner's library. That way, if they kill one of your dudes, you can just put it right back on the bottom, spend your 2 mana, get it back again with Grenzo. Crystal Ball. Anything that scries is going to be amazing with this guy. If it's a creature, you can just scry it to the bottom. Rico Lantern. Spending 3 mana to put a card from a graveyard on the bottom of the library. This is an Epitaph Golem. 2 mana does the same thing. Hearthstone. Yeah, I know Hearthstone seems a little questionable, but his ability costs 2. So making it cheaper is not, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, too, but 1 is, well, half than 2. And I plan on activating his ability a whole bunch of times. As a matter of fact, I'm not even crazy about casting a creature. I want them all to come through Grenzo. Tells you at Stylus, if someone is about to destroy something of yours, and you can just put it on the bottom instead. Darksteel Pendant is, I believe, Scry before Scry was keyworded. Still a good ability. Teferi's Puzzle Box. I love the Puzzle Box anyway. It's a great card. It does make a lot of people nervous because you don't know what you're getting. Yeah, that's fine. But when you put your hand on the bottom of your library, if you've drawn a bunch of creatures, you can put them. You can choose your order. Of course, Seer's Lantern for more scry. We've got our Tutor to discard your hand. Well, I think we all know that you're only going to play this when you don't have a hand. But to tutor up 3 cards, it seems pretty good. Of course, we have our good old-fashioned Diabolic Tutor. Crux of Fate. That's right. There's only 1 board wipe in here. It is kind of a heavy creature deck. I run 39 creatures. I guess 40 if you want to count the Junk Troll. But more times than not, I just don't even use the Crux. It does help against certain instances. Speaking of instant, this is the only instant I have in the entire deck. I've honestly been looking for something to take it out, but it just comes in so handy so many times. Since we do have creatures coming in for way cheaper than they would normally do, I've got the Warstorm Surge. It's like the old school Pandemonium, but you spend 2 more mana to make sure it's just your creatures. That's worth it. I'll pay that 2 mana. And of course our combo here, well, it's not really a combo, but the 2-pack of Fervor and Mass Hysteria, so that when they do come out, they can come out swinging. That way they don't have haste. Elixir of Immortality, because I have gotten every creature in my deck out, and then somebody wiped the board, and, well, here we are. I have no more creatures in my library, and no way to win. Elixir helps that. You know, so does Mortal Kombat. It is an upkeep trigger. At the beginning of your upkeep, you got 20 dead guys, you win. Mortal Kombat's one of those cards that a lot of people just don't see coming. You play it early, and people forget about it. You can actually sneak off some wins that way. Whisper Silk Cloak, of course, helps your Grenzo. You want to keep him safe. Coat of Arms. So evidently, whatever creatures that we're running share a creature type. Coat of Arms does really sick things with the Warstorm Surge, and it just... And Thrumming Stone. Well, I'm guessing by the inclusion of Thrumming Stone, you know what's coming next. Thrumming Stone is an artifact that from Cold Snap. Just in case you can't read it, it says all your spells gain Ripple 4. What Ripple 4 is when you cast a spell, you reveal the top 4 cards, and any spell that matches that named spell gets played for the free. Now keep in mind, they also have Ripple because you're casting it. EDH is a singleton environment where we can only have one copy of each, except for 2 cards. There are 2 cards that don't go by that rule. Now, Shadowborn Apostle is one, obviously, but Relentless Rats is the one we're doing here today. Relentless Rats in the dungeon. I run 39 Relentless Rats. You can actually hit most of them. If you do go the Thrumming Stone route, you can hit most of them. There have been times I've hit them all. Once you get that 4 drop of 2 or 3 of them, it gets really nuts. And the beautiful part is, here's the beautiful part about the Rats and the Grenzo. They start off as a 2/2. I will never ever pay for X. Grenzo will always be a 2/2. When he checks them, they're 2/2. Then they hit the battlefield. Then they get the pluses from themselves, from the coat of arms, what have you. So this way, Grenzo comes out just about every game on turn 2, unless you get some serious mana hosing going on. The rest of the deck is, of course, your assorted lands. I won't go through all those. It's not hard to imagine. You just go through and pick out your black-blue or black-red duels, and then, of course, you've got some basics. That is Grenzo the Dungeon Warden. Apparently there's rats in the dungeon. I have fun with it. It is a one-trick pony. I guess you've noticed I have a lot of decks that are one-trick pony-ish, but love the Grenzo. Rats in the dungeon, y'all. Rats in the dungeon.